more about many aspects of our culture as it relates to this concept of story. But at this time, in exchange for the gift that you are giving us in sharing these ideas of our story with you, we ask you now, how may we be of service in allowing you to share your stories with us?
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day. What's your story?
Well, before I get into my story, I want to say thank you very much for communicating with us. And I know I speak for everyone in saying we love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well, but that is not prior to your story. That's a part of your story.
Touché. I have a question. I wanted to know how we can support children in helping this planet progress and evolve.
As we have just discussed, this is very relevant. The idea is that more and more of what you call the education on your planet comes in the form of interactive storytelling. The more that you can dispense information that they need to be guided in life through the idea of allowing them to experience interactive stories, physically act them out, immerse them in actual interactive stories that the teachers have created, and let them live out those stories and face the challenges in those stories and actually come up with solutions to the challenges in an interactive, live way in those stories, the more they will learn. If you design the stories according to what interests them, what excites them. This is very key in terms of the idea of education and guidance for children on any planet in that sense, is that they be allowed to express what it is that excites them, what their story is, what format they need to hear the story in, so that the story can be told in a manner that they can understand, that they will resonate to. And in creating actual interactive stories that they can play out, which is why children play, by the way, then they will learn, they will problem solve, they will create solutions creatively that will allow them to incorporate all the knowledge that they need to guide them in their lives as they unfold and expand into what you call maturity or adulthood. Does that help you?
It does.
So what is your story relative to this?
Well, right now I work with them in an educational setting, in a school,
right.
public school.
Yes.
And unfortunately, up until this time...
I beg your pardon.
Up until this time...
Yes.
The people who make the decisions have been more focused on money rather than the best interest.
And so what has that got to do with your ability to tell stories in the way that you prefer to? What's your story here? Are you telling yourself that you don't have the ability to do it in the way you prefer? Are you telling yourself that story? What story are you telling of yourself? I am telling a story of myself that says I am at the mercy of those that are not compatible with my story. That's the story I'm telling myself. I would prefer to tell myself another story, but I haven't done so yet. What story would you prefer to tell yourself?
I want to see the new system of education start to evolve, but
I beg your pardon?
it is evolving right now.
You want to be the new system.
Yes.
Because when you say, I want to see it, there is still some definition within your storytelling that says that's one step removed from your ability to actually be the story.
Right, because sometimes in the current system, one may feel restrained from being.
But that's only because you're telling yourself a restraining story. Tell yourself a story of freedom and creativity, and you will not experience restraint. Mm-hmm. You will allow yourself to attract into your story the opportunities, situations, circumstances, synchronistically, that will allow you, by using your imagination, to create your own way of telling, your own way of teaching, your own way of story construction, whatever excites you. Maybe you need to start your own school. Have you thought about that?
Somewhat.
Well, is that not part of your story, or can you not join a school that is more in keeping with the story that you would like to be telling?
It's possible.
Well, then why don't you? What story are you telling yourself that prevents you from telling the story you prefer?
Then I need more clarity about what that school would look like.
That's why you have an imagination.
Yes, I agree.
Well, how are you going to teach children if you can't even teach yourself? Yes?
Yes.
Use your imagination to come up with what excites you and act on it to the best of your ability, knowing that you will attract what you need to allow you to fulfill that imagination. Don't put the expectation that the visualization that your physical mind has come up with must come out to fruition in exactly the way your physical mind has imagined. Use the visualization as a template, as a symbol, to create the feeling, the experience, the vibrational state of that story, of that reality, and let the higher mind bring you the elements that really need to be there to pluck the right chords in the story, so that the higher mind will bring you a story even grander than your physical mind has been capable of imagining. But use what the physical mind has been capable of imagining to simply get the ball rolling, to act as a template, to act as a symbol, to get you in the proper state of being, to allow the higher mind to deliver what needs to be delivered. Because remember, you cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of first. So get in the right vibration of being the storyteller you prefer to be, and the higher mind will tell you the story through your imagination conduit. That's what imagination is. It's the conduit of communication between your higher mind and your physical mind. And higher mind always communicates through that imaginary conduit in the form of story structure. Let it resonate within you. That's the visualization that you get. The representation of the visualization the physical mind conjures up is the representation of the story coming from the higher mind in story structure. So see the ideal story in your mind's eye. Behave like you see the version of you in that story behaving, and tell yourself that story. Make that story true for you. Make it your story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is our story coming across to your story?
Yes.
Is this something that you feel bold enough to do?
Of course.
Thus then, is there any other impediment, challenge, or obstacle you've created in your story that you use to prevent yourself from moving ahead in that story?
I'll have to think about that.
Why?
Because it's not clear to me at this point.
Does it need to be?
I don't know.
The answer is no.
Okay.
You know why?
Tell me. Please.
Thank you. What? Tell you a story?
Yes, please.
All right. Remember that we have said, and this goes part and parcel with what we have said in our last transmission last night of your time, it is important to remember all the principles at once, for that will give you understanding. So the idea is that it is important for you now in your story to remember that excitement is a self-contained kit. It is the driving engine and the organizing principle. And therefore, you don't always need to know what it is that you may need to change right now if you are willing to act on your excitement and tell yourself the story that is truly you by simply moving forward in that excitement, by simply moving forward in that story. If there is anything you need to be aware of that needs changing, any challenge that you need to be aware of, any belief that you need to be aware of that requires your attention, moving forward in the story will bring you to that story point automatically, and you will then face it when that story point comes up. So you don't need to know it now, but you will find it on your journey if you move forward in your story. Make sense?
Yes,
Does that help streamline your story?
it does.
Anything else?
Just one last part to my question is there anything else I or we can do to help children in a one-to-one or small group setting? You mentioned the storytelling and having them act it out and live it themselves.
Create a story, have them act it out, and find out from them what excites them so that you're telling them the story or letting them change the story in a manner that applies to what excites them for their story. This requires creativity and imagination on your part and their part, and working together to create the story that inspires them asking them questions. How would you solve this? How would you imagine the consequences of this action might play out? So they will understand the nature of action and consequence and experience and choice. Let them invent the story with you. You understand?
Yes.
Storytelling is not just from me to you. It is a co-creation. Invent the story together, even as these ideas, these exchanges, these interactions right now, as we have said, if you will remember, are creating a new third story. Not just our story, not just your story, a new story that contains us both. We're creating a new story together. That's what we're doing in these interactions. So with your children, create a new story together of what is possible. Teach them how to apply the idea of the story in their reality. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Do you have a new story now?
I know hesitation usually means no, but
Does your story contain the idea of hesitation?
at times,
All right. Let that be all right. But are you willing to move forward in your story? Do you have a better idea of how to do so now that we have had this story discussion?
yes, I do.
Does that help you then?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And good day to you. What's your story?
Oh, my story. At least I know initially when I was at one of these the last event in San Francisco, I realized after the fact I had an expectation that I was going to get to, that I was going to
An
talk to you in
expectation
person.
of what?
That I was going to get to talk to you, ask a question in person, and then I didn't realize that until after the fact. And now coming here this time, I was like, all right, I'm just going to be here, just have fun,
Yes.
fly up here, just have a good time, and then
Bang.
yeah, what do you know? This was a wonderful surprise.
Thank you for containing surprise in your story. It's one of the most important story elements.
Yes, good point.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is a great idea using stories. I know it feels like I don't know how, but somehow it seems like this could be used to, at least for me to, in following my excitement, at least something that I would like to follow.
Really?
My
It
excitement.
seems
Yes.
that way to you, does
Yeah.
it? All right. How so?
Well, I mean, I know it feels like initially before I can move to do that, there's,
Before you can move, you're always moving.
well, at least my story right now is I've discovered some negative beliefs that
All right.
I kind of, I guess, forgot about or put on the back
All
burner.
right,
and they just
all right.
came up.
But that's the challenging
I
part of
know.
the story.
It's exciting.
How exciting,
I
yes.
know.
And so what are they? What's one of them at least?
that by following my excitement, that it seems like almost like this task that has been given.
Task.
Yeah.
Are you using that in a negative context?
No,
All right.
it sounds like an amazing.
All right, but I asked you for one of the negative beliefs that
Right,
you referred
negative
to.
beliefs that I would be wasting my time if
Wasting
it wasn't
your
really
time.
true.
Wasting your time.
Yeah,
Wasting your time.
you know, if I follow this excitement, and it turns out, oh well, the thing that I was excited about,
Yes.
this idea, that it would just be, you know, I
Yes.
would be going down a goose chase to nowhere,
So,
and so I'm afraid.
you would find a goose at least.
Yeah,
And do you not refer to the goose that laid the golden egg in your stories?
true.
So the idea is that if you look at that as part of the positive experience, don't you believe you'll find the golden egg in that path as well? Because isn't the golden egg finding out something that is not you so that you more clearly know what is?
Very much.
So it's part of your story. It's not a waste.
True.
Again, when you understand story structure, you would automatically know that that's part of the story and not a waste of time. You need to understand story structure. What you call red herrings and other animals that you use in your stories often provide the idea of seemingly going in a direction you don't prefer to, but wind up surprising you by giving you information you didn't expect, that you need for the rest of the story that represents the direction you do prefer.
That seems to be happening. That's what's been happening to me the last couple months.
Look at it as a detective story.
That's what it seems like. I keep getting little bits more information like,
Yes.
what is this? You know, like,
So even though it may not necessarily represent the path ultimately that you prefer, you're still going to find a clue at the end of that path. And it's going to help you down the road later on. If you use it that way, if you just think it's a waste of time, if you just label it in your story as a waste of time, you will come up empty.
yeah, my heart knows it's not a waste of time.
Then why don't you listen to your heart in your story?
I mean, like I said, at least I've allowed it to be this negative belief of wasting time.
All right,
and
but
also,
you're not doing that now, yes? You're not going to do that from this point forward, yes?
I don't wish to, no.
Well, then you're not going to, yes? Or if
Yes.
you do, it's going to be all right that you did, and you can go, oh, well, I did that again, so what? And move on, yes? Isn't that the kind of story you would prefer to have? Yes or no? It's up to you. You can
Yes,
say no.
Very much making a positive experience out of it.
Well, because you
regardless.
can make a positive experience out of everything, yes?
That's what I would prefer.
Well, then do that, yes?
Yes.
Is that the story you would rather tell yourself?
Yeah.
Then that's the story you will tell yourself, yes?
Yes. I mean, there's some hesitation, but
All right.
That's what I prefer.
All right. So you can say, I will tell myself this story, even though sometimes I may hesitate. That is the story I will tell myself, even with the hesitation. And the hesitation will only help me tell that story even more strongly, because I know that the hesitation is part of my story and not an interruption in my story. I'll use the hesitation as part of my challenge, as part of my story. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
All right. Does that help you?
That does.
Yes. What other stories have you got?
I guess with this
You
specific
guess,
one,
you guess, you guess.
no more guessing. With this specific, I don't know, with this task and these beliefs that I'm holding on to out of fear, it just seemed, I know, it almost like there's this too good to be true element to it.
Too good to be true.
Too amazing. Too
amazing to be
fantastic.
true. Too fantastic to be true. Well, that's a story. Do you want to live that story, that something is too good to be true?
Yeah.
You do want to live that story?
I mean this.
That something is too good to be true?
No, not too good to be true, but that the story I wish to tell.
Yes.
Regardless.
Have you ever had anything in your story happen to you that you felt was very, very, very good?
Yes, more and more so lately.
Well, if it happened once, why should it not be capable of happening again and again and again? If it happened once, why wasn't that too good to be true? Why didn't you tell yourself the negative story then? Why did you allow such a good thing to be happening in your story if you didn't believe that good things can happen?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Is that question too good to be true?
No.
So you see, it's all about understanding story structure so that you understand how to ask yourself questions about your own story. You understand? Just like we did. You recognize that your own story does contain things that you did not believe were too good to be true, so you allowed them to be experienced. But if you did it then, what's the difference between that and any other thing? Maybe it would be more helpful for you, instead of talking about whether something is too good to be true or not, to simply allow your story to understand what is most relevant to your story. Because there may be things that are not relevant to your story experience, but you don't have to label them as being too good or not good enough.
I remember you mentioned that to somebody at the San Francisco event, and then I was pondering, I was like, well, it seems really, really relevant if it's true.
Then the idea that you can begin to understand in redefining these things is that if something seems really, really relevant, that's another way of saying that it is true, or it wouldn't feel relevant. Do you understand? Relevance is truth. Relevance is the vibration that is aligned with your truth. That's why it feels relevant. Otherwise, it wouldn't feel relevant. It wouldn't be your truth. But if it feels relevant, that's synonymous with, it aligns with your truth, or it wouldn't feel relevant. So if it feels really, really, really relevant, then it's really, really, really reflective of the true you. For you. It may not be true for someone else, but if it feels relevant for you, it's true for you. It's a synonymous definition, if you allow it to be. Instead of separating it and saying, well, it feels really relevant, but is it true for me? You're contradicting the idea, the very definition of relevance. You understand?
I like that.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's why, again, it's so important to be clear about your definitions and be aware of what definitions you're already giving something. Pick it apart. Examine it in your story. Find out how you are labeling things. Because when you understand the labels you're giving to things, you'll understand why you may be confused about things, because you're applying confusing labels that don't allow you to extract what you need from every situation. As you have just given us this perfect example in your story. By supplying a different label to relevance other than the label that it represents the true you, you've created a separation, you've created a confusion. But by consolidating and integrating it back together and going, wait a minute, how can it possibly be relevant to me? How can it possibly feel relevant if it isn't true? By understanding the underlying nature of existence, which is the same thing as underlying story structure, you'll be able to see right through these illusions that you create and understand the labels that you're applying to things, and thus change them when you see that they don't work for you. Does this help?
Very much.
You have a different story now then?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
yes.
Real quick.
Yes.
I didn't know if you've happened to had a chat with what I call Dave by any chance lately.
Define Dave.
At least the consciousness I seem to be.
A guide?
I don't know. He just described himself as a consciousness that I've been verbally channeling, just mostly for myself.
And?
I don't know if you've had any chats with him lately.
I'm having one right now, aren't I?
Right now. Okay. Good enough.
Because Dave is an aspect of your own consciousness.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So? Is there something Dave wants to tell you?
Yeah. I'm not. I don't
What
know.
does Dave want to tell you?
Go follow
Since
my
you
story.
brought up, since you brought up Dave, what does Dave want to tell you? What's the story Dave is telling you?
The one he's been telling me.
Which is?
All the stuff he's been telling me to actually act on it.
So, why aren't you listening to Dave?
Good point.
And the answer is? Why haven't you been listening to Dave? And the answer is?
Oh, mainly because
You don't trust Dave, do you?
not totally, no.
Why not? You think Dave is out to deceive you?
No, he's been very loving, very helpful, bringing me amazing information, and
Then why don't you trust what Dave is saying?
I think because what I'd said earlier, it's too good to be true, or that I'd be wasting my time if I actually followed it. So
If things were too good to be true, why would you even consider the idea or construct the idea of talking to someone named Dave?
I didn't even try to do it. It just
But you accepted it.
yeah,
Why? Wasn't that too good to be true?
it's been fun.
Oh, fun.
It has been fun.
So you'll allow it to be true if it's fun. Yes? No? What? Will you allow things to be true if they're fun? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, then,
Make
have
it fun.
fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate
Bye, Dave.